Who would you blame all this harassment? Would you blame the students or some of these lecturers?
I'll blame the lecturer.
So it's not the fault of the student.
I've experienced it before. There was this lecturer that was always.
It is gradually becoming a norm for some university lecturers to chase after some of their female students. It has caused so much havoc in some universities. Some students have come out to report these cases, but we are on the street today to find out from people if it is the fault of these lecturers or the students or the society. I am Talak Mahmoudeni. Keep watching Legit TV.
I'll blame both party because with the rates at which Nigerian students are doing now, some of them don't really want to put down their head and study. So they want to look for a way to see how they lobby for a mark. And these lecturers at the same time, they decided not to be responsible. They let some things that are not supposed to happen. So if you ask me, I'll blame the both parties. I will not blame only the student, and I will not blame only the lecturer. Because if the student did not present herself before the students, if the student did not present herself before the lecturer, then definitely the lecturer will not want to go down with her. So the student presents herself so cheap before the lecturer. So the lecturer now decided to take the advantage.
Okay. Yeah. So as this kind of a thing, has it happened to somebody close to you?
Sure. Yes, it has happened to my girlfriend during the school days, of which I had a personal issue with the lecturer involved. I know what he took me. They almost withdrew me from the school because the issue I had to take it up with the lecturer. But at the end of the day, we were able to settle it because when he's my girlfriend's son, the lecturer tried to force her into it, of which she didn't. So the lecturer now put the whole blame on me that it is because of her boyfriend. So I now have to pick up quarrel with the lecturer, but at the end of the day, school management has to intervene. By the time school management got to know this is what is involved, they deal with it on the management level, of which at the end of the day, I don't know what happened, but I know they settled it at the management level.
Okay. So what advice do you have for some female students who cannot voice out what is going on with them?
My advice is, if you know as a female student you cannot voice out, the only thing you need to do is to bend your head and read your book. Because if you read your book, you will not be victim of such circumstances. But by the time you did not read, you want to, compromise with such a situation. So if you ask me, I'll ask the student to go ahead and read their book properly.
Well, I'll blame the lecturers because it's in their authority to either say no or yes. They don't put a gun to their head to tell them to, to not control themselves. Besides, these same lecturers go abroad and they don't harass people that are even much more indecently dressed than the ones in Nigeria. So it's not really a problem. It's not. You can't blame the students in this situation. It's the lecturers that need to be put in check. All right, it's the lecturers.
Okay. But some do claim that some of these students push themselves on these lecturers.
Well, obviously there are going to be such claims, and then it's also true that it does happen. But you can't say that because they push themselves on it's a different thing when you're pushing yourself on a lecturer, and then a lecturer is determining that he's going to first of all demand for sex before he passes you. There are two different things. So because someone push, if they don't push, then why should you first of all as a lecturer even succumb to the fact that someone will offer you sex to be passed? All right. Then if they don't push, then why are you the one pushing? It doesn't make sense. All right, it doesn't make sense. So because they offer you, I mean, you see a mad woman on the road, you don't go and sleep with her, or you don't. Do you understand? So it's beyond logic. Beyond logic. Yes, I saw the tweet. I see the arguments that the lecturers are also get such. Okay, let's say fine. All right, we live in a world that's not so that everybody's not morally upright. Okay, but yes. Somebody comes and meets you and says, okay, I want to offer sex. Fine, that's between you and the person, all right? But not when someone is, on their own, and then you demand for sex, and the person says no, and then you now insist that you won't pass the person because they didn't offer you sex. It's just borderline stupid and crazy.
So let me ask you, between the two of us, if your girlfriend was in this situation, for example, what advice would you give her? What would you do?
If my girlfriend was in this situation, okay. If I say I don't have a girlfriend, that would have, yeah. Anyways, that's not important. But my point is, if I have a girlfriend and she's in this situation, what will I do? Well, I'll talk with her, and then apart from that, we'll look for certain authorities that we can speak to. All right, that's if. Yeah, so, because now it's already a public issue, so we look for certain authorities we can speak to. There are people coming up now on Twitter especially and saying if you have such, come up and say, and so we'll take it up that way. We report to certain authorities and then have it documented and show it. But if it seems like it's fruitless, I'll tell her not to give in. After all, I'll tell her not to give in, obviously.
And some of these lecturers make it a very big issue. If you don't do these things, you are going to have an extra year. So what would you advise such ladies to do?
Me, I'm not in a place to advise such ladies to do anything. Because I'm not over them. All right, but what I would say is the lecturer should not demand for sex. You cannot demand for sex to pass a student. All right, but if a lecturer is demanding for sex, then you report to the right authorities. And sometimes it's even funny because Nigeria is such that when you even report to the right authorities, it's like as though the authorities won't really do anything.
Because Nigerian schools are, I don't know what to describe them as. They are so irresponsible, maybe because they are not accountable to anybody. You understand? So it's not the students, that's what I have to say. Students are not to blame in any way. Although students, there's definitely going to be people who are students who need who'll be looking for easy way out to clear themselves from academic troubles and all that. That's not a basis to now conclude that it is the students who are at fault. You understand? I think the lecturers are irresponsible and the institutions themselves are irresponsible. Yeah.
So what would you do if your girlfriend finds herself in this situation, or your sister or somebody close to you? What would you do? What advice would you give them at that moment?
What advice? It's to report to whoever they can report to. I mean, it's not something you can even report to anybody within that institution because it's like a network. So the most appropriate thing to do is just to come out and get a lawyer and I'll take it up from there. I think that's because it's not something you should just overlook, and it's a problem. And if you act, you need to act on it. Otherwise, there will be other victims in your wake. Yeah.
Has somebody close to you experienced, such?
No, nobody close to me, but I've heard cases like when I was in school myself, I got news of students being harassed by lecturers and all that. So, but I don't have any close relative or friend that experienced that particularly.
I rather blame the student because they were somehow, how will I put it? They can't wait to achieve what they want. They are actually rushing to get what they need. And that is why the lecturer used advantage of that to maybe sleep with them or do some things with them.
Okay, but you know that there are some of these students, we know that they are top in the class, and some of these lecturers just want to take advantage of them. What do you have to? It's not that they cannot read, they can read, and they are very good when it comes to their theses and all that. So, but what you have to say to these lecturers who still insist on having their way with them?
Okay, in that case, I may say the lecturer is being maybe biased or corrupt because him sleeping with students before passing them is very, very bad and he has to stop. So I don't see any reason why they should blame the students if it comes to that. But we know that 46% of students are not ready to learn. They rather give lecturers what they want to get their result. But seeing students that are very, very educated and lecturers insist on having sex with them before passing them, we think the fault is from the lecturers. So he needs to be detained for that.
Let's say, some of them will say that the way these students dress, they dress to entice these lecturers or to entice, their fellow students. Would you say that is also a cause?
Actually, in school of this, that's one thing or one of the cause that makes lecturer or gets them attractive or attracted to students, because the way student dress is very very bad and uncalled for. But if they can change their way of dressing, or if he has have something to do with someone that have not been dressing that way, he needs to be persecuted for that. But if they are student, before they should do anything to him, they should go through those student profile and check how well they are doing before we judge him with what they dress or anyhow.
What is wrong, honey?
I got scammed at the market.
This wouldn't have happened if you used Gigi. Gigi is a huge online marketplace where you can buy and sell goods such as cars, smartphones, or even houses. Gigi is absolutely free. Gigi!
Wow.